May I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, a personal question? When you were 6 years old, was it Mamma who put you to bed, or could Papa stretch the purse strings as far as the nurse for baby? My Papa could afford one, or thought he could. When I was 6, I had a nurse who put me to bed with a bedtime story. Always the same story. I believe now that the lady must have been a female bard, possessed of an imagination as unbridled as it was ruthless. But to me then, every word she spoke was gospel. The title of the story sounds harmless enough. The Tale of a Pie. I believe it to be reserved for dull nights when I was low with medicine, for it always recurs to me in a vague association with castor oil. And when the story recurs to me, I hear it in my mind, one moment through the voice of my nurse. Once upon a time, you see, child, yes. And the next moment through the voice of, melodrama. The hero of this nursery epic was a Captain Murderer. Captain Murderer's name would seem to have awakened no prejudice against him, because he was endowed, you see, child, with bounteous wealth, and went out in the best society as a man about town. The captain had a mission in life, matrimony. And a special feature of his courting was that he always asked if the young lady could make a pie crust. If she couldn't, she was taught. Another special feature was that by the day after the wedding, the bride had invariably vanished off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. On his marriage morning, Captain Murderer always caused both sides of the road to church to be planted with curious vegetables. And when the lovely bride said, "Dear Captain Murderer, I never saw a vegetable like that before. What is it called?" he would answer, "It is called garlic, my dear, and it is used for flavouring meat pies." Well, the wedding over, and Captain Murderer made an end of a revelry. The last guest was gone, and he was alone with his lovely bride. It was his whimsical custom to produce a golden rolling pin. The lovely bride, remembering her lessons in pie crust making, would roll up her sleeves. The captain would then bring out a silver pie dish of immense capacity, then flour, then butter, but of ingredients for the pie itself, the captain brought out none. Then said the lovely bride, "Dear Captain Murderer, what pie is this to be?" Replied the captain, "A meat pie." Then said the lovely bride, "Dear Captain Murderer, where shall I look for the meat?" Replied the captain, "In the looking glass." The lovely bride looked in the glass, but still she saw no meat. Then the captain suddenly roared with laughter. Then suddenly frowned. Drawing his sword, he bade her roll out the crust. So she rolled out the crust, you see, child, dropping large salty tears upon it because the captain was so cross. And when she'd cut the crust out in a great round circle, all ready to fit over the top of the dish, the captain suddenly called out, "I see the meat in the glass!" And the lovely bride looked in the glass just in time to see the captain cutting her head off. And then he chopped her into pieces, you see, child. Sprinkled her with salt, Sprinkle her with pepper, flavoured with garlic, put her in the pie, bake the pie, ate the pie, and picked the bone. At this point, I always asked for water. Well, Captain Murderer went on in this way, prospering exceedingly, until he came to choose a bride from two beautiful twin sisters, one fair and one dark, and he didn't know which to choose. But the fair twin loved him, and the dark twin hated him, so he chose the fair one. The night before the wedding, the dark twin decided to spy on him. So she stole out, climbed to his window, and caught him having his teeth filed sharp by the family blacksmith. And next day, with the three of them on their way to church, the dark twin overheard him making his joke to her fair twin sister, the bride. Those vegetables are called garlic, me dear, for meat pies. Well, the captain married the fair twin, and when the last guest was gone, he asked her to roll up her sleeves. And then he cut her head off, chopped her into pieces, sprinkled her with salt, sprinkled her with pepper, flavoured her with garlic, put her in the pie, baked the pie, ate the pie, and picked the bones. When Captain Murderer gave out that his bride had vanished and that he knew nothing of her whereabouts, her sister, the dark twin, remembered about his teeth being filed sharp and about his joke about the meat pies. So she went up to his house. Garlic, me dear, for meat pie. Oh dear, Captain Murderer, I was jealous of my sister. Marry me next. Well, the night before the wedding, the dark bride-to-be again stole out, again climbed to his window, and again caught him having his teeth filed sharp. At the sight of this, she laughed, such a terrible laugh. The captain felt his blood curdle. I hope it is not something I have eaten. The next day, they drove to church, garlic, me dear, for meat pies, and were married. When the last guest was gone, the captain brought out the great silver pie dish, the bride watching him narrowly. And then he said, me dear, you know what you are to do now. Oh, yes, said she, rolling up her sleeve. I am to roll out the crust. So she rolled out the crust and never took her eyes off him until he cut her head off, chopped her into pieces, sprinkled her with salt, sprinkled her with pepper, flavoured her with garlic, put her in the pie, baked the pie, ate the pie, and picked the bones. But before she'd rolled out the crust, you see, child, the lovely bride had swallowed a poison, squeezed out a toad's eyes and spider's knees. Captain Murderer hardly picked her last bone when he began to swell and turn blue and come out all over spots and scream. And he went on swelling more, you see, child, and turning more blue and coming out more all over spots and screaming more and swelling more until he reached from floor to ceiling and from wall to wall. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, he blew up. Good night, child. Sleep well.